We have some new numbers here from the Council on Foreign Relations about President Trump's drone strikes, and it ain't pretty. So they say, during President Obama's 2 terms in office, he approved 542 such targeted strikes in 2,920 days. That's 1 every 5.4 days. From his inauguration through today, President Trump has approved at least 36 drone strikes or raids in 45 days. That's 1 every 1.25 days. So that's an increase of 432%. Yeah, look, this is what you get with Trump. Everything that he said that was a non-interventionist argument on the campaign trail was just bullshit. Was just him trying to get elected and using whatever arguments he thought would be most popular. And he's smarter than the other Republicans in a marketing sense, and he was able to figure out very quickly that, on most of the time, more intervention doesn't sell. So he'll say, we're nation building overseas and it's costing trillions. Why not spend that money at home and rebuild our country? It's the right thing to do. And so he would say that all the time. But then he would also contradict himself because, as long as you're not saying, I want to do more war, then you could get from a Republican audience some applause. So his other thing he would say is, we're going to bomb the shit out of them, talking about ISIS. He said on Fox and Friends, we're going to take out their families. We have to take out their families. So in other words, target civilians on purpose. Yeah, that's called terrorism, Don. That's why I did a thing during the primary where I called him Terrorist Don. Because he's saying, I want to be a terrorist. Let's kill their families on purpose. I'm going to make that choice. Whoa, that's terrorism. That's why we hate ISIS. Hey, you guys kill civilians on purpose. You're fucking barbarians and savages. But when we do it, it's okay. No, it's not okay. So half the time he would be the most non-interventionist on stage, even more non-interventionist than Hillary Clinton. And then the other half the time he would be the most hawkish, so massive contradiction. But guess what? You give a guy like Donald Trump power, a thin-skinned narcissist buffoon, and he thinks, I'm going to handle everything. Believe me. Let me just tell you. Anyway, let me approve every drone strike that's possible. You do know with his first raid, the one that killed 30 civilians, that President Obama did not approve it. And people in his inner circle were like, look, the evidence isn't really there. This is too high of a risk. It's probably not going to work out. Trump was like, I approve it. So originally they said, we got a top Al-Qaeda guy. What a success this mission was. Then we found out, no, we didn't get him because he released a tape a few days later where he was mocking Trump. Then we go, it's okay. We got like a dozen Al-Qaeda guys, maybe more. Then we found out, no, you didn't get them either. There's no evidence you got them. Then they moved the goalpost again to, we got vital information. Really? What kind of information? Let's see. Crickets. And again, we found out that about 30 civilians were killed, including an 8-year-old girl and other women and children. So, but this is what you get with Trump. All you need is somebody in a nice pressed uniform to go in there, a general, some other high-ranking person, and say, Mr. President, we have this mission that we would like to do, and we need your approval. Give us the green light, sir. He goes, tremendous. Believe me, go do it. Because he's not that bright. Whereas Obama, say what you want about him, and I have many issues with him, because 90% of his drone strikes killed innocent people. 90% of the time, they missed the intended target. But Obama, at least in some instances, was like, okay, let me see the file. Okay, where's your evidence? Because here's the dirty little secret about Washington. People don't talk about this often, but everybody upholds the generals. Oh my God, the generals are so special. Oh my God, they're so high ranking. Look at their nice uniforms. Oh, we gotta kneel right in front of them and offer them all of our praise. No, the reality is their answer is the same 100% of the time. More war, more intervention, more escalation. This is what happened with, all the presidents in Vietnam. Like Lyndon Johnson, at home, he's actually pretty progressive. Hey, let's do the war on poverty. Hey, the Great Society. Let's actually try to uplift people. I signed the Civil Rights Act. I signed the Voting Rights Act. Look at how progressive I am. But wait a second. Why were you escalating Vietnam that entire time that you were doing some decent things at home? Because the generals kept telling him, nope, I got more. We need more troops. We need more troops. We just need more troops. And look, if you... we're the experts here. I'm wearing a uniform. More troops, more troops. So it turns out when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So you're a general. All you see is everything through a conflict lens. So the answer is always more troops, always more military, always more escalation. So you have these generals or you have these people in the intelligence communities who that's what they're focused on. That's what their thing is. And of course they're going to push for more drone strikes. Of course they're going to push for more traditional airstrikes. Of course they're going to push for more boots on the ground. And as we recently learned, in Syria, they just put 400 Marines or 500 Marines boots on the ground there. Before they would use the bullshit where we have, these are just advisors. That's what this is. These are special advisors. They're not actually fighting. Well, now we have 400 to 500 Marines on the ground in Syria, and you say they're not fighting. They're shooting giant missiles. There's just pictures of it released the other day. Of course they're fighting. So he's escalating in Syria, escalating in Afghanistan, 432% increase in drone strikes because the people around him are saying, oh, you got to do this, and he'll listen to the last person in the room because, again, he's not that bright. And furthermore, he wants all the glory. So in his mind, he thinks, Obama, failure, sad. But to him, because all it takes is a little bit of nudging in that direction, he thinks, I will be the great president to win all these wars. Don, they're unwinnable. Doesn't matter if you increase drone strikes by 432% or 1,017%. The results are going to be the same. You're going to get the wrong people the overwhelming majority of the time. Again, it was 90% under Obama, and he's smarter than you. You're going to get the wrong people. You're going to create more terrorists, and then we go round and round and round with the war on terror. It never ends. So you should actually listen to what you said half the time in the primary where you were making non-interventionist arguments. He would win re-election if he stopped with this nonsense militarism and adventurism around the world, and he actually used that to rebuild the country here at home. He would actually win. He would win the next election if he were to do that. But what's he doing? 432% increase in drone strikes, escalate, I should say, in Syria and Afghanistan, and $54 billion more for the military, even though it's already the biggest the world has ever seen ever. And we already have 800 military bases around the world at a cost of $100 billion a year. With all that, he's decided, well, let's go further in that direction. Let's be more militaristic. It's so stupid. And at the same time, cutting all the domestic programs to the bone. Gutting all the regulations, EPA, Wall Street regulations, you name it. Gut all the regulations, handicap all the agencies, cut the safety net to the bone, and increase in military. Basically the opposite of what we need.